Hello and welcome back to another episode of Film Focus with me, Fred Black.
Anthony Squire.
This week we've got 2 more films and 5 more trailers. Our triple show has kind of failed again. We are not doing a triple show this week.
There wasn't really that much on this week.
Yeah.
I tried to go to the cinema, but the cinema was not playing Machete Kills.
Yes. Where's Machete Kills? Could we talk about this right at the start off? We had this huge kind of thing, because Machete Kills was released nationwide on the 11th.
Mm.
Both cinemas in Brighton, both Cineworld and the Odeon, not playing it. And as much
the
as
Odeon was worse, because the Odeon had a massive poster up for it. Release date, October the 11th.
So yeah, you go to the Odeon because it's closer for you, but because I work really near the cinema, at the Cineworld, I go to that one. And they don't they've been kind of honest, they haven't put a poster up for it.
Yeah.
I know one of the guys that works there though, so I might ask him, have you got any plans to show it? Kind of desperately asking.
Just why? They show trash like How I Live Now.
and Prisoners and Runner and stuff, and Machete Kills doesn't even get a look in. Maybe the Duke of York's has it, but we haven't checked that yet.
I have. No, it doesn't.
Really? Not even the one at the Comedia?
Not even one at the Comedia.
Oh, bloody hell. What is wrong with Brighton? It's really like Brighton would be the place to see Machete Kills, being a stupid, over-the-top action film.
I'm going to keep a close eye on it, because I get the feeling it's going to be one of these one-nighters.
Yes, actually.
One-night showings,
But yes, that is our outrage of the week. And we're really looking forward to this film. It's going to be shit. It's going to be cheap, tacky, trashy, all that sort of B-movie
ridiculously over the top.
But, it's Machete. Machete. And it's one of the best action films of the last few years, and it was so fun. And the sequel is not showing in Brighton. I'm not travelling all the way up to fucking London to see it. But
or Crawley,
yeah, I don't want to do that. I want it to come here, to Brighton, now. But yes. Anyway, the films this week we're looking at are far more kind of serious in tone than Machete Kills.
Yeah,
we're going to start off with
The Fifth Estate.
The Fifth Estate, yes. The biopic of Julian Assange, the WikiLeaks creator. Played by Benedict Cumberbatch, who's essentially the biggest movie star at the moment. He gets pretty much everything he goes for.
He did a good job. It was a bad script.
It's a very, very kind of pinpoint summation of it. But I will agree with you there. Yes, I was very disappointed in this film.
It just dragged on. The pace of the film, it's going along, and then suddenly
you've just got large bits where nothing actually happens.
Just pointless scenes were thrown in, and you just think, why?
Yeah. It's not as bad as a lot of other films we've seen recently.
No, How I Live Now was much worse.
Given that we've had About Time and How I Live Now and The Mortal Instruments and stuff like that, it's definitely not as bad as that, but I guess if they'd really taken their time to kind of cut down the script a little bit, because I checked the time coming out of the cinema, and it was like a 2-hour long film, 2 hours 10 minutes or something like that.
And it felt.
Yeah, stuff like, I don't know what the longest film we've seen is this year, but stuff like Star Trek, the new Star Trek film, that was 2 hours and 10 minutes. And I know you don't like it, but it's the same sort of thing. A film can be 2.5 hours, but not feel it. The Fifth Estate felt fucking long, because it was fucking long.
Dragged. I can sum it up as, if you're thinking of going to see a film at cinema, don't go and watch this one.
Well, we're getting more into it. It's just you got Daniel Bruhl, who plays, what the fuck's his character name?
Daniel Berg,
yeah. But he's again, I was quite impressed.
He did, both he and Cumberbatch, they're good actors. But
it's the script that let them down. I just don't understand how they could have got two. And Daniel Bruhl's just kind of leapt onto the scene from nowhere. It's this and Rush. And those are the only 2 films I know he's been in, and we've seen him in this year. And he's just come out of nowhere, and he's a formidable acting talent, really.
He's good, but I don't know if he was desperate or...
If he was desperate for the money, please give me money.
A
biopic that's destined to make lots of money? Yes, I'll take it, please.
You could also argue that Benedict Cumberbatch, maybe he was a little desperate or just greedy, but...
Well, I've heard a lot of stories about this film, Julian Assange, the guy it's about,
didn't he object it?
yeah, he didn't want this film to be made. He didn't want Benedict Cumberbatch to play him, and he had very strong objections to this movie. But once you start watching the movie and you start kind of getting into who he is and like what he does to Daniel and Daniel,
He's a right bastard.
and it's just it's kind of not surprising because it doesn't paint him in a favourable light, really, does it?
It makes you wonder how close it was to...
Yeah. I mean, the biopics and thing with stuff like Rush, apparently Rush was very more kind of like harshly played. Like it was not as much a rivalry, as much of a kind of like, you know, a competitive friendship between the two. And I'm wondering how much of that is true here, how much they've kind of jazzed it up for audiences.
They probably have jazzed it up quite a bit.
Or maybe not, because the script was so dull. I didn't feel like they jazzed it up at all, really. Zing!
I saw this thing on the news earlier on today. What was it? It's documentaries. They're being more harshly looked on now because the awards are coming up soon.
Oh, right. Well, like biopics and stuff like that. I can see that. I mean, we never look at documentaries in the trailer sections of our films, unless it's like some sort of really spectacular stuff.
Yeah.
But I kind of think, like, I mean, for me, biopics and historical dramas and stuff, you know, stuff like that, stuff that retells like a story during World War II, or you know, something like that, are always some of the most kind of placid films. Like
placid.
Yeah, they're just kind of, you know what's going to happen in the broader picture. Like if you have a film,
the emotions of it. And stuff.
Yeah, because you've seen it all go through in the news and you've seen all things. It's just how well the director deals with it, and often they kind of just deal with it in a fact like it's all right, I guess. You know.
Well, I don't think Bill Condon was really trying with this film.
No,
I hadn't even heard of him before.
And we're probably not going to hear of him again if he continues to do such a poor job of it this time.
What, you reckon he'll be disposed of?
Yeah, click of the fingers and he's out the door. But no, like, I've never heard of Bill Condon before either, and to be honest, I don't think I'll hear of him again. I gave this film a 5 out of 10.
4.
A 4 out of 10. Yeah, I can see it more leaning towards that way, but for me, like, I came out of this film, like, just thinking it was purely average. There was nothing amazing about it, nothing terrible about it.
It was a little depressing, but it's depressing more on the fact that no real effort had been put into it. It was just, got this script, oh, you two want to play the main roles, go for it.
Yeah, well, you want to direct it? Well, yeah, just sit behind a camera and shout at people for a bit, yeah. Which is how I've just described directing, is sitting behind the camera and shouting at people. I'm sure it's not, I'm sure it's much more complex. Yeah.
The next film we look at is a good example of where more effort's gone into it.
Oh yes, definitely. But yes, The Fifth Estate, like, unless you're really into the WikiLeaks kind of thing and you're really into that kind of bit of, you know, that story, then I wouldn't check it out because there's not much to kind of, there's not much to tell.
It's boring. You're waiting for the story to really develop, but it doesn't. It's the first sort of 30, 37, 39, 40 minutes.
Oh, you and your timekeeping, for fuck's sake. The first 37 minutes and 30 seconds are really gripping. That's how he does things.
I don't count the seconds. Well,
not
much, but it's setting it up for it to be, you know, to go off in all these other directions.
Yeah.
More into this, more into that, but it doesn't. It just plods along. It was boring.
Yeah. Anyway, going on to more boring things, we had a really typical time picking trailers for this week's show. I mean, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 18, 21 trailers.
Maybe it's just that time for mine.
I mean, we had 21 trailers to look through this week. And
they were boring.
We had to pick 5. We always pick 5. And it's not that we had trouble picking 5 because they were so good. It's because most of them were so shit. Yes. And even the ones we've picked now, like, some of them I'm looking at going, meh.
I mean, a couple of them look so bad they could be good, but
we'll start with the Grand Budapest Hotel.
I didn't like this one. It was trying too hard to be funny.
I don't know how much Wes Anderson you've seen. Wes Anderson being the guy who directed The Royal Tenenbaums and The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
I haven't seen that much of
Most
it, but
recently he did Moonrise Kingdom, which is about a little guy.
it was just great in the trailer. You could see though, just in the trailer, the way they gave the one-liners or the the punchlines. It's just the way they're all sort of standing there and
expecting what they were expecting a laugh track or something.
yeah.
I see. That might sound. Pardon me. It does sound very odd, but that's how Wes Anderson does his films, and they are often kind of very quirky, with like a bit of like a lingering pause after this punchline. Yeah, almost as if they are waiting for the drum roll after it. But for me, this trailer was actually quite funny. I quite enjoyed it, and I've yet to see Moonrise Kingdom.
What's the plot for that one?
Not really sure. Wes Anderson films have a very loose plot most of the time. Sometimes they can be very loose. I mean, The Royal Tenenbaums has quite a concrete plot that kind of keeps going, but stuff like The Life Aquatic it kind of meanders a bit, but it's always very entertaining. But yes, I was actually quite impressed with this one. I think it's probably the trailer of the week for me. As in, it's probably the funniest one. What trailer do you want to talk? Yeah, what trailer do you want to talk about next then?
Non-stop.
Oh god.
Basically, Liam Neeson I think he's been typecast ever since Taken.
Yes, he has. He had Taken and then Unknown, and then Taken 2. And isn't he rumoured to be in the Expendables as well?
Yeah.
Isn't he getting put in the Expendables? He's just been recast as this complete badass.
In short, I think the plot for this one is he's a US Marshal, he's on an aeroplane, and
he's a flight marshal that regularly goes back and forth on these airlines.
And he keeps getting texts from someone saying someone on the flight will die every 20 minutes unless
you transfer this huge amount of money into this bank account. And then, of course, all hell breaks loose. It's a kind of action thriller.
It's not going to be snakes on a plane, but
you said this when we watched the trailer, and that is the weirdest comparison to make.
I kept expecting suddenly snakes to come flying out, or
you're a lover of B-movies, you're always expecting this giant shark to come flying out of the aeroplane, or an octopus to just go, "Hi, I'm going to kill you all now." Or just something stupid like that. But no, this is a straight-laced action film. I was thinking more along the lines of Red Eye or Flight Plan or something like that. These kind of thrillers set aboard airplanes. But yeah, it's a stupid trailer.
It's going to be a stupid film. But I'm looking forward to it. It looks like the kind of just relaxing film. Had a bad day at work.
You just go around and just
chill
take
out.
Take the piss out of a stupid action film.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Oh come on, we could. I wonder how it's going to end.
Liam Neeson will do some impossible stunts. Probably jump from one airplane to the next.
Well, isn't there a bit at the end of the trailer where he kind of just floats? Somehow the gravity goes in the plane and he's floating back, shooting a gun. Oh, what are you doing?
It looks great. Well,
I'm
not going to hype it. It looks average, but it looks like it's going to be good.
Continuing our run of stupid films, Vampire Academy is the next.
Beautiful. This trailer looked great. Basically,
Vampire Academy.
One Tree Hill or the OC, throw in some vampires. That is this trailer, basically.
That essentially sounds like Twilight, but it does actually look better than Twilight.
No, it's not going to be Twilight.
Because these vampires, look legitimate. They
don't just walk around during daytime.
Yeah, they don't just sparkle like a diamond. Fuck that. But yeah, this looked like kind of high school vampire. It looked like some sort of big school for vampires, essentially.
Yeah, basically, the OC, One Tree Hill, Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh, for fuck's sake, really?
It's all in together.
Oh.
No, Buffy, that's it.
Okay, I was about to say Sabrina, what the hell did you get that from? Buffy, I can understand more, but Sabrina?
I'm just
spitballing ideas there. But yeah, it looks incredibly stupid. No idea really as to what the plot is. If there's some big bad guy that tries to take down the school or something.
If it wants to go really cheesy, graduation will be just around the corner. They'll have some major project they've got to get completed, an exam to take. And they'll do all this while also being able to defeat some evil demon who's come through from another dimension.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, like, I don't know. It looks a very stupid film, and it's based on a best-selling book, as most Hollywood films nowadays often are.
Yeah, Twilight.
They're based on big best-selling books. I mean, you've got The Hunger Games, The Mortal Instruments. You know, How I Live Now was based on a best-selling book, but we won't go into that
film
again.
Was pants.
We'll move on from Vampire Academy, and we'll go straight on to Freebirds.
Oh yeah,
Freebirds. Read your script, Anthony. God damn it, man.
Does look good. It was CGI.
Yeah, it was the producers of Shrek is what seemed to be pushing this film forward, about a bunch of turkeys close to Thanksgiving who decide to save other turkeys from being killed.
Beautiful.
And eaten.
Turkeys with weapons.
Yeah, slapstick comedy. All sorts of family-friendly entertainment on the back of, you know, this kind of basic-looking animation. But it was really funny.
Yeah, it was funny as in genuinely funny.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be. It was kind of like, because we had another animation this week, The Snow Queen, and that was just kind of like...
Oh, please. But why did trailers have to end so dramatically?
Oh yeah, that had like the impossibly epic background music,
Yeah,
didn't it?
It's like...
Yeah, just like, I must be excited, the background music is so loud! I was like, no, it's just shit. But this one genuinely looked quite funny.
Yeah.
Not sure how big of a release it'll get.
Well, hopefully it'll get better than Machete Kills.
We're just going to keep... Should we just title this episode Bring Back Machete Kills, or Bring Machete Kills to Cinemas?
It's crazy, it's playing up in Crawley. Why?
Bring Machete Kills to Brighton. I'm going to start like some online petition or something like that.
Because I went in, I actually spoke to the people in the Odeon cinema about it.
Well, as you should. They advertise it. They should be... If they advertise a film in their cinema, they should be, you know, at least expecting to put it on their roster.
I mean, there was lots of ums and ers in their response, but...
Did you use the line, I'd like to speak to your manager, please?
I was speaking to the lady behind the till, and in the end she said, I'll get my manager to come here.
As I say, usually the people that work just behind the tills aren't... They might not be as clued up.
She was a nice person, don't get me wrong, but the manager was a nice person as well.
Yeah.
But it was just the whole point of, if you're going to advertise something,
yeah.
show it.
Like, yeah, the manager should be like, yeah, okay, we've got this poster for this film we're not going to show. Let's stick it up anyway!
They said it might be in this weekend. So you think to yourself, okay, it might be in. I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, keep
no,
it. And if it
wasn't.
If it does pop up like next weekend or something, maybe he got his weeks wrong. But if it is in next weekend, text me and I'm running straight over there to see it. But yes,
it annoys me. Why advertise something if you're not going to show it?
I hear you, but we're getting a bit sidetracked at the moment. It's the second time we've mentioned it this episode, and we're going to move on to our final trailer. We've been avoiding this film for quite a while because, honestly, I'm not excited about this at all.
Why do you choose it, then, if you're not?
Because it's going to be one of the biggest films of next year. I think it comes out next year. It is we are going to have to see it because it is going to be like the biggest film of the year, like in the top 5 for most people's, like, you know. It's The Hobbit Part 2, The Desolation of Smaug. Finally, there's a fucking dragon. Thank you, film.
It's like the book is what, that thick?
Yeah,
but they've managed to turn it into a massive.
I mean, interesting enough, you haven't seen the first part, have you?
No,
you haven't seen An Unexpected Journey.
Was it good? Bad?
No, it was absolutely diabolically boring. And I haven't read the book. Okay, you know, jump at me all you will. That's fine. But I enjoyed the Lord of the Rings films. I did enjoy the Lord of the Rings films. They are very good films, especially if you watch the kind of cut down versions, not the full blown extended versions, because then it just gets a bit silly. But I like the Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit, though, is complete overkill. The first film was essentially hinting to everything that would happen in the second and third film. People, essentially, if you describe the plot of The Hobbit, it's a group of dwarves and a hobbit and a wizard go back to the dwarf kingdom to reclaim their land from a dragon. That sounds like a good 2.5 hour film. If Peter Jackson really wanted to kind of pack in a good action film, he could make it 2.5 hours easy.
I think what happened was he'd done the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, and they just
big
yeah,
books.
and he's just got the dollar signs in his eyes, like those cartoons, like Looney Tunes cartoons, where you have dollar signs, ching ching.
Oh, Peter, your early work was your best stuff.
But well, yes, but like this film, we've been avoiding it for quite a while because I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just not. I'm going to have to sit there in a darkened room in the cinema for 3 hours. I mean, the last one, The Unexpected
3
Journey,
hours?
An Unexpected Journey, which was the first part, was 2 hours and 50 minutes long.
Whoa.
And they barely got a third of the way to the fucking mountain that they're meant to be going towards. And I'm just like,
Touch wood, they set it up for the battles, which again hopefully will happen in this one. Or they have to, really.
I suppose yes, there were good points about it. I mean, there are good bad guys and everything in it, but it's all hint and hint and hint, and there's no kind of like action. There's no kind of like, you know, we'll take this and we'll run with it for this movie, and you know, through that action it'll get them closer to the mountain or something. There's nothing like that. It's just kind of hinting at other set pieces that will be probably crammed into the second and third films.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the worst trailer of the week. But I just felt like we had to talk about it because, as a film show, it's going to be one of the biggest films of next year, and we can't really avoid it.
X-Men, which next year will be good.
Apart from your superhero roster, you've got like not the Avengers. That's not till 2015. But you've got like
X-Men, Days of Future Past, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, you've got tons of superheroes, but I doubt they're going to make it into like the best film of the year. Or maybe for you they will, but
Bryan Singer is back directing X-Men.
Yeah, I'll have to reserve judgment on that. I'm waiting for a trailer. I'm waiting for a fucking trailer.
I reckon that'll be out either
January. I know there's been like promo campaigns and stuff for it, but I don't think there's been an actual trailer yet. But anyway, we'll move on to another film. Funnily enough, I mean, we did review 2 films this week, and this one is by far the better film of the week.
Woody Allen, Blue Jasmine.
Yes.
It was spot on, right from the start, right to the end.
The thing is, I didn't know what to expect from this film at all. I'd seen it had been on at Cineworld for a good few weeks, and it wasn't slowing down. Like literally, you can see when films are kind of going out of the run of Cineworld's loop, because they only show like once a week. But this one is still showing like 5 days a week.
Really good,
and it was incredibly good. And I knew it was Woody Allen, and I'm not a big fan of Woody Allen, but that's all I knew about him. I've not seen Match Point.
That's really good.
I've seen some of his older stuff, like Annie Hall and stuff like that, but I haven't seen
Match Point. Was really good. It was.
But yeah,
this one was on similar ground. Basically,
it's like kind of
how to describe it.
Well, the plot described it as some sort of like socialite, like some kind of woman. This woman, Kate Blanchett, who's used to kind of the rich ways of living. She's used to kind of being all the finer things in life, and suddenly finds herself bankrupt and kind of down on her luck, down out of her marriage.
Like many scenes, she'll be talking. Like the opening scene was brilliant. She's sitting next to this other woman on the aeroplane. She's talking, but this other woman's not listening to her.
Yeah, but essentially, like she's like, and she has to move in with her sister or her They're both adopted, and like it's adopted sister, and it's one. And then of course, she tries to find her feet. She tries to get herself back on the market again, and like
she's always looking. She wants to be rich again. Basically.
Yeah, she wants to be rich. She wants to marry back into that rich lifestyle.
And it's really clever as it goes along, as you find out why her husband went broke.
Why she lost everything. I mean, we don't want to give too much away, but
I gave this 9 out of 10.
I gave it 8 out of 10. And honestly, like, it's weird to go into a film with no expectations at all, other than knowing who the director is and who's in it. It's like, I literally knew this was a film by Woody Allen, and that's it. And then the rest of the film was completely open to my interpretation. When we watched like trailers and stuff for films, I mean, all the films we'll see during the next few months will have seen trailers for, kind of blasted in our faces in cinema screens over the next few years. But this, I saw nothing. Like, I haven't seen any posters or marketing for this at all, and
you're right, actually.
why not?
I'm just trying to think. I haven't seen any trailers for it.
Like, not on the side of buses or on, you know, posters at bus stops or like billboards and shit. I haven't seen anything for this film, and quite why I haven't seen anything for this film is beyond me, because it is really good. It was very kind of complex and kind of subtly complex.
I'm not trying to describe it as if it was a dark comedy.
At times it was, yeah. At times it was very kind of dark. I thought it was just kind of... It was very kind of human. It was a very kind of human way of dealing with things. It felt more kind of... Like I wasn't watching a film, I was watching some kind of real-life events unfold, and I don't know how he's managed to do it.
I mean, Cate Blanchett did such a good job.
Yeah, hands down, one of the, like... Hands down, she will be definitely going. That is going to be one of the top 5 performances of the year.
The character she played... I didn't have any sympathy for it as the film went on.
Yeah.
To be honest, she plays a right bitch.
Yeah, as the film goes on, you do start to kind of hate her a bit more, and so you kind of understand why you should be hating her a bit more. But the thing is, though, her performance is so kind of captivating and mesmerising.
Performance was spot on.
You like, believe me when I say you will literally be glued to the screen whenever she's given a monologue or given like any sort of conversation between her and there's that guy Chili, there's her sister, was it Jeanette or is it Jeanette? No, oh fuck, I can't remember their fucking names. I've got the worst memory in the world for that sort of thing. But yeah, this was like seriously one of the biggest surprises of the year, one of the best performances of the year from Cate Blanchett, and definitely one of the best films of the year. 8 out of 10 from me, 9 out of 10 from you, and hands down that's just a great way to kind of sign off.
Genuinely good film. Yeah, if you're going to go to the cinema this week, ignore The Fifth Estate. That's not really on. Just ignore it.
Like I see, like what did we review last week? We had like Filth. Oh, Filth. I say if Filth is still on, go and see that. But
How I Live Now, which was complete pants.
Like it literally over the last few weeks, if I was going to recommend any film, I would say this, and then my mind would keep going. Oh wait, we might want to see Filth as well, but. Blue Jasmine is one of the best films we've seen in the past few weeks, if indeed this year.
It was much, much, much better than Filth.
That's in your wrong opinion, sir.
As in my right opinion.
That's in your wrong opinion.
You can't save everyone.
Anyway, I think that is a good place to end the show. We will see you next week with... What are we reviewing this week? You've already seen one of the films, actually.
Escape Plan with
Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
You've got to see this. It's brilliant. It's so old school, Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
We'll keep that down. And then the next film is Captain Phillips, which watches excitement go down the pan.
Yeah, but you've got to go and see
Escape Plan. So I'm assuming that's going to be a high-scoring film for him next week.
The scenes of him in prison, you hear these random voices, and then something out of nowhere, you hear, No, wait. And you're thinking, yeah, go on, Anyway, enough of that.
Yes, we'll wait till next week. Sunday, that'll probably be online. So we will see you on Sunday, guys. Have a good week.
Take care. Thanks for watching.
That's it. Bye.
As a good show.